This is the Assure lesson plan model for All About Copyright presentation. A stands for Analyze Learners. This lesson will be given to a 6th grade class with fairly mixed ethnicity, majority of which is white and Hispanic. It was based at a Title I school where several students are ESL or have learning disabilities that require a hard copy of notes. A skeletal framework of the presentation will be provided to all students so as not to single out any particular individual. The students that need extra assistance will have a word bank to help them fill out the guidelines for copyright laws. Entry prerequisites for this lesson are few, but the student must be able to understand basic computer functions, the use of search engines, and how to locate an author for citations. Students will not be expected to create citations, but must be able to locate the author of a work to see if it abides by copyright law. S is for State Standards and Objectives. TEA's Technology Standards 6.5a under Digital Citizenships states that a student practices safe, responsible, legal, and ethical behavior while using technology tools and resources. The student is expected to understand copyright principles, including current laws, fair use guidelines, Creative Commons, open source, and public domain. The stated objective will be read to the students before the lesson so they are aware of the expectations this lesson has for them. The learner will be able to identify and categorize scenarios regarding different forms of copyright law using the presentation notes with an 80% accuracy. S. Select strategies and resources. This lesson takes place in the library using the computer and projector system for presenting the lesson. After the lesson is over, students will move to the technology lab located within or near the library. Lesson notes will be printed for each student to follow along and engage in the lesson as it goes. This assists students that need a hard copy of notes as they will have a word bank. At the computer, the assessment is untimed and has 2 attempts to allow for growth and in case there are any technological errors. Utilizing resources. Students are all familiar with the use of Chromebooks and desktop computers as they are frequently used in the classroom. The library presentation system will be checked prior to the lesson to make sure there will not be any issues and that everything is in working order. The library computers will also be checked for functionality as well to ensure that there are enough working computers for each student. The lesson will be previewed by the teacher beforehand to make sure that every student has the resources they need to be successful during this lesson. Expectations will be told before the lesson so students are aware of what they will be required to do and the amount of which they will be required to be considered successful. This lesson shifts from teacher-centered during the presentation of materials to student-centered as they recap key points for their peers before testing their own knowledge of the subject matter. Required learner participation. Throughout the lesson, students will be following along, filling out a skeletal outline of the lesson so by the end they have a cheat sheet to help them remember and reference through their project. If they do not follow along, they will not have a completed reference sheet to help them complete their evaluation. At the conclusion of this lesson, the table groups will give a quick recap to review a topic in copyright before taking a scenario-based assessment. Evaluate and revise. Students will have a quick group recap on a topic of copyright law from the table groups to review for the benefit of their classmates. Then, individually, they will have several scenarios given to them on a computer to determine if the sources they need are available for their use and follow copyright law. They will be allowed to use their outline from the lesson and must score at least 80% to have a good understanding of copyright law. This lets both the teacher and the librarian know where the students are and if they need more instruction on the matter. Possible revisions could be to have more discussion during the lesson to either add or clarify as the material is being taught. While all of the work in the presentation is my own, there were resources that I used to brush up on the information that I needed to know to be able to correctly give the information to the students. These are the sources that I used, but the presentation material is all of my own.